Welcome everyone back to the channel. This is Snoo and you're looking at a 100 maps farming session, the first one this league featuring relatively high investment. This is going to be a really interesting one for you today because while it features strong box divination card farming, nothing too surprising there. Today we're going to be farming Breach. I'm going to show you guys just how good Breach is. I think this is a great opportunity to bring back the Perception versus Reality series, because if you ask anyone in the community, pretty much anyone, including a lot of people who are quite familiar with juicing and quite good at making currency and maps, they will tell you that Breach, not so good. It feels good. It's fun to do, but the results just seem really lackluster, which is surprising because so many people had high expectations for Breach after the initial reveal and the changes that took place. I, for one, was extremely excited to do Breach, primarily because I identified early on in the creation of my build, the Poison Tornado Shot build, and the guide, that Breach was going to suit the playstyle for that build extremely well, so I was pretty determined to make Breach work, and I saw it through way beyond, I think, what most people did, because I really wanted to do Breach. So I tested it in a wide variety of ways, and to be fair, just kind of sticking Breach onto your maps and trying to get a lot of value out of that doesn't really work too well. You have to actually take it pretty far, take it all the way, and this strategy really does invest quite a bit into Breach, more than you might think. Chayula breaches, yep, and most of the Atlas passive points by far are devoted to Breach, I'd say. So let's get into this guide. The Atlas here, like I just mentioned, basically every single Breach node and notable is taken, except for, a couple of obvious ones here. Indeed, I do want to actually slow the breaches down, even though I'm wearing a headhunter and I've got, roughly 200 divines invested into this character. We'll get into why that is when we get into the map showcase. But yep, going to be taking heavy Breach. I think Breach Chest Splinters here is the only one that I would really like to take, but I haven't taken because it just couldn't quite allocate everything the way I wanted to. You'll notice Strong Box all in here like it usually is. And Harbinger, surprisingly. I was able to fit in Harbinger. If you wanted to adjust the strategy, you might drop Harbinger, not a big deal. But I think Harbinger still proves to be really good, a fairly quick mechanic, still very strong for divination card farming, and, picking up some uniques and what have you. A whopping 3 Atlas points invested into the chance to spawn a Mirror of Delirium. This is a little bit unusual for me. I'm not going Delirium on this set. I think there's, let's see, it's going to have 8% plus 8, that's 16, 20, 24, 28% chance to spawn a Delirium Mirror on every map, I believe. And that's not very high, and it's on cemetery maps, so Delirium maps are really, it doesn't go very well. Most people have a very hard time sustaining a Deli Mirror on cemetery, myself included, although, again, the story is with Crimson Temple, the King Harbinger. You get a King Harbinger kill, and it basically holds the mirror back essentially forever. That is another kind of side point, a little added value to putting Harbinger on the map. Way fewer Harbingers on each map than there was last year, though, on account of dropping from Wing to Gilded and losing +3 Harbinger on the map device. But I'd much rather have +4 Strongbox anyway. For a Strongbox divination card farming. Cemetery is going to be the map of choice because of the Brothers Gift card. Yep, I've been dropping that card. It appears to have the exact same drop rate as the Brothers Stash, according to most people who have been farming it. And in case you're not aware, we do have the drop weight tables for that as of last league. Looks like about 88 union cards per Brothers Stash or Brothers Gift, and those are some pretty sound drop rate tables. So I mean, it was like a sample size, I think it was 54 brother stashes versus almost 5,000 union cards. So that's a ratio of around 1 to 88, and it should hold true. I definitely believe it's true. I've dropped almost a dozen brothers gifts this league, as well as brother stashes, almost an identical number of each. So you can pretty well count on that to be true. Even going to be taking these nodes here for the extra boss. This Deshtula boss drops 1 Breach Stone guaranteed if you spawn. You can spawn from the hands, and I've even seen it spawn double, which was surprising. I didn't think that was possible, but I saw it spawn double once. Going to be taking most of the increased Breach Splinters, from whether it's from monsters or from minions, so that's quite interesting. And so the big change from last league and leagues gone before, whereas if you invest heavily into Breach and you go Chayula Breaches, for example, you are always trying to find Skin of the Loyals or Chayula Blessings or Chosen cards. Those things can still drop, although I haven't seen a blessing drop, but the other two can still drop. Definitely see them a few times, but absolutely the majority of the liquid currency we're going to get from this strategy as far as breach specific reward is going to be just raw Chayula breach stones. So go ahead and pick a number in your head about how many Chayula breach stones you think I'm going to walk away from in this 100 maps session. Go ahead and pick a number. And I'm willing to bet, if you fast forward to the results of this video, you're going to see that the actual amount of Chayula breach stones that I accumulate in 100 maps is going to be quite a bit higher than the number you probably projected. And it's going to make perfect sense to you how a lot of currency was gained. Because, as I mentioned earlier, I have 20 divines invested, or sorry, 200, around 200 divines, counting Headhunter, invested into this character right here. And a lot of that, a great deal of that, featured breach farming. As I said, I was determined to make breach work, and it has fallen off a little bit, but because breach is so unbelievably unpopular for a large swath of the player base, the economy has responded, and has responded very well to it. So the staying power of the breach stone for Chayula breach stones, usually they drop down to like 20, 30 chaos a piece. They're still holding strong at around 70 chaos a piece. And then, of course, as a result of the extremely rare Skin of the Loyals, Chosen cards, and what have you, those are worth an arm and a leg. Even still, 2 weeks into the league. If you find a Skin of the Loyal, you made bank. I mean, even if the colors are bad, you still made a lot of currency. And the last one of those I found sold for 13 divines. It was a fairly good color roll. So that's pretty impressive there, in my opinion. So we'll see how much of those things I get over the course of 100 maps. I do have the overlay, as you can see. Some of the things I'm hoping to see drop. We'll track the fracture shards as well, which should be interesting. And I didn't even bother writing mirror shards in there because I haven't seen a mirror shard in, I don't know, about 10,000 Harbinger kills, which is kind of sad, but yeah, I'll make a special note of it, I guess, if one drops. Still taking all of the quant wheel, all the rarity here. I am not featuring a Reliquary Scarab on this farm. This is just strictly going divination because I have to fit in Harbinger, Breach, Strongbox, and Divination. Divination is some nice crossover for Breach and Strongbox. Of course, we're using it for Strongbox, but a lot of people are doing just pure Enraged Strongbox and speed juicing Cemetery. That's okay, but you can definitely afford to spend a little bit extra time in the map if you're putting on other league mechanics that, while they may take a little bit of time in the map, they're giving you a lot of other good currency, and they do have a tendency to drop divination cards. Which map's better, Crimson Temple or Cemetery? Well, it's kind of a wash right now. Certainly, if you're going to run Breach, you're not going to do it on Crimson Temple, you're going to do it on Cemetery. So I'm especially excited about the fact that the Brother's Gift was introduced on the Cemetery, which has essentially unlocked open league mechanics in conjunction with divination card farming. Very exciting. I used to do Cemetery farming back in Arch Nemesis League. I spent basically the entire league in Arch Nemesis League in the Cemetery. I actually dropped my first Mage Blood when it was released. I dropped a Mage Blood in Cemetery in that league, so maybe we'll see a repeat of that. I just dropped a Calandra ring, though, a few hours ago while prepping for the strategy, so that's how it usually goes. Get all my good RNG out of the way, and then we start the 100 maps, and I probably won't get any uniques to speak of, especially when not running a Reliquary Scarab. Now, we could be doing all Winged Scarabs, but Winged Scarab is way more expensive in the investment. I have a feeling at some point this league I'm going to test some Winged Scarabs out. The major issue with it is buying them in bulk. There's really just not the supply. If I sit here and advertise Winged Scarabs to you guys, everybody goes out and tries to buy Winged Scarabs. I mean, I think the market would literally run out, actually, because of the changes to the infinite Winged Sextant strategy. It doesn't work anymore, apparently. That's all right. So Gilded is still pretty nice. And again, we got Breach, Harbinger, Strongbox, and Divination. And we're going to be doing Elevated Strongbox. It's only one divine, by the way. It's really pretty cheap, I think. Pretty good price there. Also going to be doing Elevated Breach, which is about 1.2 divines for these. Now, the Enraged Strongbox Sextants are very expensive. Some of the most highest expense I've ever seen. A lot of people really come on board with divination card farming. A lot of other people are excited about farming the Cemetery. And again, Brother's Gift, pretty often. I mean, it's the exact same rarity tier as 7 Years Bad Luck, in case you weren't aware. 7 Years Bad Luck is not extremely rare. It's certainly nowhere near as rare as the Apothecary. It gives you 5 Divines. It's just straight up in one stack. So if you do the math on that, even at 160 Chaos apiece, you definitely make currency. If you're, if you got a good strategy, it's giving you a lot of cards. In my opinion, you want to be averaging at least probably 6 or 7 Union cards per map for this to really feel worth it at this price. To feel more than worth it anyway. And then the Chayula specific sextant, which used to be extraordinarily expensive in past leagues. Early on league, it would be 2-3 Divines a piece because of how crazy good the rewards were in the beginning. But here it is, 70 Chaos a piece. Not worth as much. Again, the market has responded, and which is making Breach a little bit more favorable as far as the investment to rewards ratio. And we're going to start things off here in a moment. You can probably guess where I got all of these maps if you're an avid follower of my channel. You will have noticed that in the previous video, I farmed 16 maps to acquire 176 8-mod corrupted cemetery maps, which was actually pretty easy. Pretty easy to do. And so these are all premium maps. I am valuing these maps at a premium value of plus 5 Chaos, essentially. That's how I did it last league with the 1,000 Crimson Temple maps. Counted these essentially worth about 10 Chaos apiece, or in a bonus 5 Chaos beyond their initial value. So I usually have currency over here to cover the cost of the sextants, but I mean, it's just so most of the investment is in the sextants for this strategy. These are pretty expensive sextants across the board, and I'm just simply not floating the currency, as you can see, to do that. So that's okay. We'll just use notes instead. And that means I can bring you down to the dump tab. And here it is. So it's basically just the Scarabs, all the Scarabs, about 17.2 Divines in there. And then we add the value of all the Sextants, which was most of the value. Nearly 50 Divines worth of currency in the Sextants, the maps, and then, of course, putting ambush on every single map. Altogether, this is going to be an investment of 67 Divines. It's about 124 Chaos per map, so categorically, a pretty high investment strategy. And again, that's kind of what you have to do if you do Breach. Now, doing Breach, I was doing a lot of Deli Orb farming. Deli Orb farming got a little bit carried away with how much it was marketed. It needs a little time to cool off. We'll come back to that at some point, like the 60-80% skittering Deli Orb. This time, we're going to be featuring Strongbox in conjunction with it, and 8-mod corrupted, not Wandering Path. Can't do Wandering Path for doing Breach. But the cool thing, again, the crossover here is that, again, Breach does drop divination cards, but also the major crossover in this strategy, Breach Splinters are a lot like Harvest exotic currencies. They are, there is some determinism in the drops. They typically drop from the clasped hands or Breach rares or unique monsters. But you can boost up the count of splinters by boosting the map or area quantity. Not affected by player quantity. Divination cards are affected by both of those. But as far as Breach, splinter rewards in particular, and perhaps the Chosen card is affected by Divination Scarabs. I'm not really sure on that one. But anyway, map area quant. We're going to be taking all of those altars we can. That's why we're doing Eater of Worlds. And, of course, I'm going to be taking duplicated divination cards if I ever get the opportunity to do that. So I noticed a tremendous uptick in Chayula Splinter counts once I swapped over from like 3 modded rare 80% deli to 8 mod rare with, taking all of the altars. Definitely had a positive impact. All right. So I think we're ready. Which means I put it back here. I'll be answering questions. You're going to hear me talk a lot about Breach. Again, I'm surprised. Honestly surprised. People have really just written off Breach as not worth it. And I should at least point out that if everybody were to all at once start doing a Chayula Breach farm, it would negatively impact the economy. It's true. It would negatively impact it. It wouldn't be a terrible, terrible impact, I think, but just do keep that in mind. Currently, Chayula Breachstones are worth and selling for reliably at around 70 chaos a piece, and the Chayula sextant is also 70 chaos a piece. So that is the current price point, so do keep that in mind. That is subject to change if a lot of people start farming it. So again, here we go, ambush. All of it here, a map happens to have beyond on it. 8 mod corrupted map. Let's do this. Oh, I could pick any one of these. I would pick Einar if I was, you know, really trying to go all out, but that's not really important here. Okay. I do have a Sinvictus weapon swap, which works really well, although it unequips my chest, which is kind of scary. The reason why I'm able to do this is because of the reduced attribute requirements. Some people have been asking me about that, so it's kind of fascinating. You can crucible your Sinvictus to reduce the requirement, or you can get plus 90 or plus 120 strength, and there will do the trick too. With a poison build, we get the luxury of getting Rampage effectively free into the build because a weapon swap works, whereas it doesn't work with instant damage attacks. So right there, you know, that was all too easy to do. All right, now as far as the way I run the maps, again, typically taking the quant alters, I'm trying not to kill stuff like crazy right now. I am going to find the boss room ASAP. I'm going to get a little bit of soul eater stacks before I go into the boss room, preferably. And there we go. That boss was definitely boosted up a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to backtrack essentially where I was, because again, I spawned some Eldritch minions, but I didn't really kill a lot of them, so I need to kind of backtrack and kill everything where I passed through, and then I'm going to go through and actually, you know, clear the rest of the map, and then we're going to start opening strong boxes and breaches at the same time. Alright, that guy's pretty easy to take down. Of course, beyond boss, a lot easier to take down when you're not running 80% deli. We're not blocking anything, didn't take any Atlas passive points on the left side to block, so I'm going to be seeing Legion and, let's see, okay, Grand Eldritch. I'll go ahead and take Grand Eldritch over Quantity, although it's kind of late in the map clear, so maybe that wasn't the best idea. Alright, got a few altars, that's good. Looks like I got a tainted fusing off that boss, actually. So you see the map's basically clear now. Now we're entering a second phase of the map clearing process, whereby I'm opening all the strong boxes and trying to get the breaches open. Now remember, I'm picking slower breaches. This might be a little confusing to some of you, because why would I do that when my character's so unbelievably strong and fast? Well, I tried the faster breaches. I tried normal breach speed. And the problem is you definitely lose some effectiveness. You gotta go around, click the clasped hands. You gotta want to try and clear all the breach monsters, of course, especially the rares. And in order to do that, you can't have the breach opening and closing too fast. You just can't. Now, to circumvent the issue of just kind of not doing anything while you're waiting for the breach to open, that's a good time to, you know, loot the map, or to go around and just start clearing other things. I open a breach, I might go ahead and start opening strong boxes, or in this case, here, I'll open this breach, and now I'm going to do the Legion while the breach is opening. And so long as I make it back to the breach before it completely finishes, that's all that matters. And that is sort of the important time to come back to the breaches, you know, before it finishes. You can also start opening a second breach before finishing. Again, we can open more than one breach at once. So I think it's a lot more convenient to just make the breaches very slow, and then just kind of go around and do other things. Again, you can loot, you can open more than one breach at once, you can open strong boxes, you can do legions, you can do all kinds of different things while a breach is sort of slowly expanding. The important thing is when that breach is starting to reach its maximum capacity, that's when you really want to pay a lot of attention to it. Try and make sure you get all of these hands, especially the big ones that can spawn the bosses and drop, I mean, look at that, 12, 14 splinters at once. Each Chayula splinter is worth about half of a chaos. So, I mean, 14 splinters at once, that's 7 chaos. And so hopefully you can kind of begin to get an idea. Just, well, yeah, maybe this does actually make quite a bit of currency. Now, of course, the one kind of downside to all of this is I know that some people, including myself to some extent, don't really like going around clicking a whole bunch of clicks here. Like now I'm going around and I'm picking up a bunch of things that are worth, you know, arguably less than a full chaos. That's all right, though. You know, that's part of the strategy, and certain strategies lend themselves to being quick and get in and out of the map, and you're only picking up things that are super, super high value. Very convenient when the strategy is like that, and if that's the only way you want to play, well, maybe this strat's not for you. But if you're more focused on, let's say, currency made per map as opposed to time, then this strategy is pretty nice because it's going to be very high on the currency made per map. In terms of consistent basis, by the way, especially when we analyze at the end, we're going to analyze exactly how much currency I spent for the breach segment of the cost, and then how much I made per the breach rewards. And of course, that's not going to count, you know, any and all divination cards or what have you that I drop from breach. Probably a couple strong boxes left. One reason I actually like this strategy is because breaches sort of force me to double back and cover the entire ground. And if you ever do strong boxes on like cemetery, especially an open map, usually you end up skipping a strong box or two every now and then. You just miss it, or you happen to not see it again a second time run through, and that's a lot less likely to happen when you also accompany it with a strategy like breach that makes you keep, you know, going back over the same parts of the map over and over. It's really hard to actually miss a strong box on the map when I'm doing it this way. Okay, so there we go. We're going to dump things in here. Already got, what's that say, 62 breach splinters, so that's looking pretty good. I still have some of the map to loot. And again, some people may not like the idea that you have to probably exit the map prematurely before your inventory is full. Actually, that only really happens if I drop 6 links like I did here. Orb of Annulment conversion there on the Harbinger, that's nice. Wow, that's that might have been from an incubator actually. I do have incubators running because Legion does spawn on these maps.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Okay, so that looks like it's it. I think. Alright, so almost a full breachstone. And I actually think I will average at least 1 full breachstone because I only spawned 3 breaches. You know, I'm going to just make sure, 100% sure, because I was talking the whole time. I'm not actually 100% sure that everything was looted. Well, you know, this strange barrel thing I never care much about. Oh, see, I was mistaken. Yeah. Once I get into the swing of things, I won't be skipping things. Alright, well, in that case, actually, I did loot an entire breachstone. Because those are some pretty high splinter counts. There, 108 splinters. Question in the chat, why people consider Delimere bad on Cemetery? Because you can't sustain it. The second it spawns, it's basically done immediately. So you need something like a King Harbinger or whatever. It's even harder to sustain on Cemetery than it is on Crimson Temple, and it's less valuable too. I mean, the degree of delirium is very low. Roll on them. Oh, this is a Scarab conversion list. Which, to be fair, I think it is anyway. All res rolls on jewels is not very expensive. It's not like people put a major premium on that. They're good, but they're not like... It's not like it's going to make the jewel cost a divine or more just for that. Hey! First one! I almost picked that up that like 5 modded Atoll corrupted map because of Sanctum League spam, but I guess I don't need to now. Woo! 2 stashes and 1 gift and 8 maps. We're ahead of the curve here. If you count all of them. You would think I'd be sitting here with my thumb up my butt, but I'm kind of busy looting anyway. Clicking hands. Really? Really? Oh my god. I feel like I'm right back in the exalt to divine ratio being completely wrong. This is like exalt to divine ratio imbalance 2.0. Because I always get triggered by the lack of divine orbs compared to exalt orbs. Now it's exacerbated, but freaking brothers gift and stash ratios. Probably gonna have sessions where like I get way more exalts than divines, and I get more brother stashes than gifts. I would be so mad. Like double whammy. Just kill me already. That's just, oh. It's not that insane. I'm getting tons of this strategy pulls a lot of div cards. I don't think you guys realize how many div cards are getting pulled out of each map. If you don't understand, just watch look how many union cards are dropping. Again, remember it's 88 to 1 on the union card ratio. So 88 unions equals 1 brother's stash and 1 brother's gift. And when you notice there's like a ton of union cards lying around, well, you can see. Yeah. Chayula again. Chayula everywhere. How about another breachstone, buddy? Another one? Nope. Oh. Nope. Whoa! Whoa! Okay. The breachstone? Oh. Wow. Whoa! Whoa! That's actually the first one of those I've seen. Actually, that might be the second one. I think it's the second one of those I've ever seen, and I've done a lot of breaches, so pretty rare. It's like I think it's like what is it? We'll have to look at the Atlas passives. It's a pretty damn low chance of happening, though. It's not that crazy, though. It's not like it's worth a huge amount of currency. It'd be nice. Watch it happen again. If I did it twice in one map. That'd be crazy. So many tanks, I must be making a bunch of currency. People might be wondering about Delhi, why it's not so important now. Since last league, we've learned that Delhi doesn't really affect any drops, increased drops on league-specific monsters. Monsters that spawn as a result of interacting with a league mechanic. Including strongbox monsters, as well as breach monsters too. So it's actually not that important that you like sustain a Delhi mirror, not nearly as much as we used to think it was. Of course, that might have been part of the changes that took place before. Oh, wow. Double Divine Orb. Oh yeah, Strongbox is good. Still. Do you have a build guide? Do I have a build guide? Do I have a what? Are you new around here? You must be new around here. Go to Google and type in poison tornado shot. So what do you guys think? Lightning arrow? Lightning arrow or tornado shot? I definitely got a lot more clear putting in anomalous blood and sand with enhanced support. Subbing out. I subbed out Defiance Banner. Oh! Oh! I would say right on pace, but I think I'm ahead on all these brothers. Gifts and stashes and stuff. The brothers really coming through right now. Early in the session. Only on map 10, 3 stashes and 2 gifts. In 10 maps. What? But again, the card has identical drop rate as 7 Years Bad Luck. It's not like it's that rare. It's not that rare, you know, and I normally got like 5 to 10. Anytime I did 100 maps in Crimson Temple, I usually had like 5 to 10 7 Years Bad Luck anyway, so we're going to see that many. Go ahead and hit that one too. Double Patient, okay. That's fun. Red Star. Oh my god, 2 maps in a row. We're back on even footing. 3 gifts and 3 stashes. In 11 maps. What? What is this? What is this streamer RNG, man? It's some streamer RNG. Now I just need to get a Skin of the Loyal with like 4 blue sockets and my life will be complete. That streamer RNG makes me sick. Wow. It doesn't make me very sick. I feel pretty good about it. Easy game. Ding 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 ding. Can you tell I'm enjoying myself? What the heck? So many eldritch monsters, but not spawning any altars. The one altar coming in clutch. Oh my god. That's too funny. He can't keep getting away with it. Oh my god. You guys wouldn't believe how unlucky I was the other day with and I was finding no divine orbs. I didn't find a single divine orb in 3 days earlier. Not even kidding. Anything else want to drop in this round? Anything else? Maybe get a like a tier 0 unique or something? There it is. Always playing catch up. I'm a strong box. Yeah. Hey, we're tied again. 5-5. Wow, this is fun observing this race between these two cards. Can we all just go ahead and say that they have identical drop rates? Is that cool? Go ahead and just affirm that now. I think I've pretty well confirmed it. With my enormous sample size of 5 cards each. Yeah, fractured fizz roll or something. Fractured attack speed roll, hell. Yeah, you're crafting the bow. But the good news is it still comes out pretty close if you craft a halfway decent bow. And I'm not talking about like some crazy thing, just looking at the prefixes alone. Bow's really strong. The Chosen. There it is. Very rare card these days, and very valuable. Actually, that reminds me, did I? Yeah. And I only barely have to avoid that, by the way. You can, if you're wearing Darkscorn, you can pick up the mastery for 40% conversion. Well, look who's winning the race now. Look who's actually winning the race. The gift has pulled ahead of the stash. You mean it might drop more often? Wow, Brother's Gift has a higher drop rate than Brother's Stash. Did you guys know that? That's crazy. I bet nobody saw that coming. Everyone's sitting here talking about how Brother's Stash has a higher drop rate. What? Nope, the gift is actually a higher drop rate. Definitely. Definitely. Hold on, let me get my tinfoil hat. Very rare. Oh no, Brother Stash was left out, had to catch up. Damn. Wait, did I literally leave a reflect map on here? Are you kidding me? Oh, come on, really? I thought I undid all reflect maps. I might be bricking this map. Alright, this might save the map. I don't know. Shit, I think it got a fairly low number. I probably can't take any altars though. Like, especially the one with minus physical damage reduction. So he, like, I can swap my Chaos Mastery. I am now only converting, what, 40, 60, 35%. They're only 35%. Yeah, I don't think I can take that altar. Last time I took that one, it bricked my map. So this people keep wondering, what map mods can you not run? I have up to about 1 million projectile damage on this build. It's like 34 million poison damage and 1 million projectile hit damage. And it's actually set up such a way that if I swap my mastery to chaos conversion, so that, you know, dark scorn and chaos conversion, that's 25 plus 40, so that's 65% physical converted to chaos. I am able to handle a physical reflect map. Now, if this was Wandering Path, maybe not, but it's only, what is it, 22% of physical damage reflected, and you can see I'm still able to do it. Watch my health down here. You can see my health as being a little weird. Like, you can see it reflecting the damage, but you can see clearly that my life on hit, which, by the way, is almost nothing. Like, my leech and life on hit is very small on this build, so I could have more life on hit. So even with this, I can still handle reflect. But again, I would stay away from the altar mod that says minus 56% physical damage reduction or something, because somehow that... I remember I hit that altar once on a physical reflect map and it like crushed my... Absolutely... It was the difference between like no problem to like holy shit, all 6 portals are gone. So that was kind of weird. Original Sin? No. No, it's gone. It's only standard now. Enlightened support. Pretty random. Off-screened enlightened support. That's not that surprising out of 100 maps. Way back to Cemetery, new cards? Yeah, there's Brother's Gift. Stick around, you'll see me drop one. Yeah, I'm gonna get the bow upgrade after that. Definitely. Red star in the back. I need to mess with this breach first, and then we'll go take a look. It was not a Skin of the Loyal. Probably just a divine orb. It's a successfully corrupted Aegis Aurora. Wow. I accidentally hit 2 breaches at the same time and I'm not supposed to. That's awkward. The bad overlap breaches? I mean, no, if you can handle it on the timing side, but generally speaking, probably not going to want to do that very often. Because if being efficient with time is a concern, you can just loot the splinters inside the breach as they keep coming out. You won't even lose Rampage doing that because the monsters keep trickling out on the edge of the breach. Up to a certain point anyway. You want to... The point is, when a breach is near finished, that's when you want to, you know, have fully cleared it, looked around it. What? That guy died before I even started attacking him. What the fuck? Chayula got destroyed there. He basically died off-screen chain. I don't know how that happened. Oh! Well, it's a crappy 100 map session after all. Probably no coming back from this. What? Oh my god! This would... No! Reliquary Scarab! Breach rare. Just spitting out the mega currency. Dude! No reliquary! So if my math is correct, a reliquary would have resulted in like 6 divine orbs. Is that for real? What? I don't even have high quant rarity on the map. That's whack. That was really nice. Time to loot goblin breach. Oh my god, breach goblins log in. Yes. That is so nice. Make goblins great again. Oh wait, I have a Brine King stolen. That might have actually been, guys. What that probably was is an actual God touch currency conversion, which is, you know, extremely rare. It's just pure coincidence. But they have like crazy high, you know, an actual God touch monster is crazy high quant rarity embedded into it. Away rampage. Hey, there's a big hand. What do you know? I see it. Wow. Second chosen card. Okay. I figured I would probably find 2 of those cards in 100 maps. This was my guess. Same with the Skins of the Loyal, but I don't have a single one of those yet, so I would have guessed 2 of each. Unfortunately, Skin of the Loyal is worth a lot more. But benefits of added tankiness that it always did. Finally! Well, like map 83? I'm way overdue for the Skin of the Loyal. Thank God I actually got one. Alright, be good colors. Oh, that looks like shit colors. That looks like really shit colors. What is that? 4 red, 2 blue? That can't be very good. At least there's a couple blues. Oh my god. I don't think green matters that much, but I don't know. Probably terrible. It's gotta be at least a couple divines though, because like even the worst Skin of the Loyal, as long as it has at least like 1 blue and 1 red, it's worth something. Oh, yes. Yes, give me more of that. One map after another. One map after another. The comeback kid is here. We're in the last stretch. Straight line, beeline to the finish line. Come in and win the race. Man, that would just be so sweet if somehow I get more brothers' gifts and stashes in this set. That would actually be like an actual dramatic story. Type in Path of Exile Chaos recipes. Guarantee you something that you can digest will come out there. Chaos orbs are like 3 maps in a row. I went back up there for the altar, and there was just a gift on the ground for me when I looked it up. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I didn't even see the star. 3 brothers gifts in 3 maps. What? What? Can I get 4 in 3 maps? That would be so pog. 2 in 1 map. I recommend complaining about getting unlucky, because then your luck turns around. Usually. Gotta even those numbers, that's right. Stash is getting out of control. Just out of control. Tired of it. You know, at one point I had 6 brothers gifts and 5 brothers stashes. Only 1 point was the gifts above the stash count. For like a hot second, and then it was just like stashes were like, nope. Nope, we're taking over from here. And I'm just like, alright. If you insist. Can't be helped, I guess. Now I'm gonna start dropping nothing but exalted orbs. Dup! This is the most ugliest shit screen I've ever seen right here. The shittiest shit screen. Man, I'm about to complain like you don't even know. I'm about to go full tilt complain mode. I mean, that is like, that would be the memeiest. I should make that the screenshot of the video. It'd be the memeiest screenshot ever. You're right. We look at it and be like, what? What? Wait, I thought this was about a gift. Why is that crap doing there, dude? All right. I'm not gonna complain about that. I'll take a couple fracture shards. I'll take that. That's fine. Well, that I will accept. Full orb. Full orb. Nah. Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, you're right. You know, I should complain about not getting a full orb. I should just do that, just because I can. Not a full orb? Garbage. In other news, I keep dropping exalted orbs. So I have the right to complain a little more. God, all you gotta do is complain. It's like it's almost instant response from the law of attraction. It's just like instantly responds to me. It's like this game. God, my loot's just so bad. Oh my god. Red star. I didn't see what it was. What the hell? 2 times this happened. 2 times with the stash and 2 times with Dragonheart. 0 times with the gift. That would have been such a poetic victory for the gift if that had double duped gift, man. My face is actually red, like I'm actually mad. Like I am feeling anger right now. I would much rather not have happened. So even without dupes, I guess the brother stash still wins. Even without the dupes. Because I found 11 brother stashes and then two extras. Oh my god. But gotta say, that was quite a finish, right? Quite interesting. I loved seeing this race between the brother's stash and the brother's gift. Pretty funny, actually. I'm gonna show you guys the results now. We got dump A, B, C, D, and E. Got a new one with a few extras here, and I factored all of this to be about 9 divines beyond what Excellence detected. Now, some of these things Excellence sees, like the Immutable Forces and Voidborn Reliquary Keys, but for example, this Skin of the Loyal is actually 2 divines, not 1 divine. Excellence says this is a pretty good corruption on a pretty well-rolled Aegis Aurora. Decent corruption on Sedima's Touch, 10%. It just came that way. Got 4 Conquer Influence map. I leveled 6 enhanced supports. I counted this as 1 divine total here. And the Enlightened Gems apparently don't get seen in the app, so that's awkward. But yeah, in total, about 9 extra divines were devoted to this. Now, you'll notice that there's a whole lot of bubblegum currency in here. There's a lot of extra clicking I didn't necessarily need to do. Even picking up full stacks of jeweler orbs and partial stacks of alterations and alchemy orbs and fusings. I don't think I'm going to do that again. I don't really recommend picking up all that stuff, but I was using the ultra strict filter, and from now on I'm going to move up to insane and strict filter, and I may go ahead and leave like 1 stack Chayula in there. I do have a few uniques that we'll see, and a whole lot of breachstone. So let's see the results. That's what you're here for. They are quite interesting. It was a lot of fun, and a lot of loot dropped. A bit more than you might expect. Okay. Now I've already taken a snapshot. We're going to do it over again. Hold on, it's still rolling. Alright, 224.94 divines. 0.94 plus 9 is a gross of 233. Now, it was 67 divines invested, costing about 224 chaos apiece at the time that I started this anyway. Means I net profited almost a mirror for the current mirror budget of around 190. So that's pretty cool. Well over 100. Well over a headhunter was farmed in 100 maps, essentially. Well, with the headhunter on, I guess. And let's go ahead and divide that per map. So, I mean, that's easy. I mean, it's 1.67 divines net profit per map. So that was going to be an important number for this, because I did spend a little bit more time in each map than I do normally. It was around 7 to 8 minutes per map, and it came out to right around 12 hours to do this whole thing. Around 12 hours, which is definitely on the high end of the time factor. And it mainly had to do with, you know, breach. One of breach's downsides, if you're doing Chayula breach farming, you got to pick up those splinters. Again, I was using the lower strict loot filter as well. So we take this number divided by 12, and we get 13.91 divines per hour for this strategy. Yeah, that's not bad. I was actually hoping for over 15, between 15 and 20, but couldn't quite get there. And I don't think it was for lack of luck or anything. I definitely got reasonably good luck. Actually, the real luck I got was 3 immutable forces immediately after Captain Lance dropped a video talking about how good they are. So it drove up the value. So it turns out that the value of uniques I have on here, no tier 0 uniques, anything like that. But yeah, pretty good. You can see 10 brothers gifts. Actually, this is pretty complicated, so let's go ahead and look at it this way. For divination cards, we have 10 brothers gifts, 13 brother stashes, 2 chosen, 6 dragon hearts, and here's a very important number right here: 876 union cards. Now remember, in the beginning, according to div card drop rates weightings of stacked decks, major test done last league, the union card is supposed to drop around 88 times for every brother stash. And the brother stash, everyone pretty well assumes it's the same drop rate as the brother's gift. I duped the brother stash twice in this set and didn't dupe the brother's gift. So I mean, I dropped them almost exactly the same amount of frequency on this set. And if we take 876 divided by 88, this is the number of brothers gifts and brother stashes that I should find. 10, basically 10 is what I should have found. I found exactly 10 brothers gifts, so no surprise there. I think that should be pretty insightful for you guys who are still I don't know, a little skeptical about the Brothers Gifts drop rates or whatever, just pick up the Union card and you can kind of see your progress if you're looking into it. Yeah. Let's see. We got Chosens. We got Endless Dark. And couple of Endless Darkness, which is kind of a weird one on there. 4 monochromes, couple patient cards. So I didn't get any sort of major fortune out of the diviners. Strong boxes, acclamation, lion. Yeah, it's just kind of all the way down there. But anyway, little over 15,000, I guess, on the divination cards, something like that. Let's see what currency came out to. Now, I actually think I got kind of lucky with divine orb drops. So divine orb drops 17, and most of those were early. I just found lots of divine orbs really early. You saw a couple of them in the highlights. I did manage to get a full fracture orb, 1 fracture orb, and 1 shard. Some Voidborn reliquary keys. Almost 666 chaos orbs. That's cool. So yeah, here's the total amount. Actually came pretty close, the total amount of currency, all things considered. Yeah. Questioning chat, did they fix Excellent next, not including maps or other items? No, indeed, they didn't. So, Excellence has no maps here. Actually, usually, this sort of results would come out much higher because it would at least value the maps as something. I'm not sure how many cemetery maps is in here, but you can see these are all uncorrupted. I checked, they're uncorrupted. These truly do sell for like 4 or maybe 5 chaos apiece. And that's a lot of value that's not being included in this section. I probably should have included that, but it's a little too late now. I don't feel like redoing all this here. Scarabs, I got a few Scarab conversions. There are a lot of operative strong boxes, so 2,000 chaos almost in Scarabs. Pretty cool. And then uniques. Spelled right. Would help. Alright, so again, Immutable Force. When I picked these up, I thought they were basically junk. I didn't even realize there was any sort of secret tech going on there, but apparently they're really good. And not only did I get 3 Immutable Forces, but I got 3 well-rolled ones. I got a 952, an 830, I guess a little lower, and I mean, the odds of this are, pretty dang low. 999. Pretty crazy, so that's gonna sell quite a bit. I think I'll try to sell those quickly while the hype train is high on that one. So yeah, a little bit of good fortune there on Immutable Force, obviously. Aegis Roar, 1 Skin of the Loyal. It was 4 red, 2 blue. Not a very good color, really, but not the worst. Arakali's Fang. Void Battery, Messina's Ventor's Gambles. We'll do a tiny little gambling session after this. But here's the whole list. And, almost forgot. I guess, it's under fragments, that's why. 132 Chayula Breachstones in 100 maps. Okay, not bad. So, I can't really pump out more splinters than that. I think it would be pretty hard because I was very diligent with the maps. I full clear the map. I make sure I get all the quant rarity altars. Virtually always selected quant altars when I could. Again, clearing the map diligently, boss rushing, making sure, and then going around and getting all of those that I could. And it helps for union cards and all kinds of cards. Quant altar is very useful for divination card farming as well. Oh yeah, 1 Chayula Flawless Breachstone. Very rare. Very rare. If you look at the statistical odds of that happening, it's pretty low. Here's another interesting one. Notice, what is this? 1 Ilnatol, 4 Tolls, 5 Zoth, 5 Eshes. How in the world did I get all of those other Breachstones when I'm putting only Chayula on the map? Well, that came, so you might be thinking, or looking at this Atlas passive, that I got all of those extra Breachstones from the off Breach Lords just from this one Atlas passive. So if you were sitting there thinking, what in the world is this Atlas passive? Totally useless. Why would I ever select this? Think again. You're going to get a lot of value out of just this one. And then, of course, the Breach Lord can drop, any loot at all. But anytime this Breach Lord spawns, it's guaranteed to drop 1 full Breachstone. And then the hands that spawn 15% of the time, which is pretty often, usually at least once per map. It's going to drop something like 5, 10 to 15 of each breach splinter category. All 5. It would drop all of them. So that's pretty impressive, I think. Definitely an Atlas passive that people kind of meme over. That I think it's very good, but and in hindsight, it's pretty strong if you're doing a strat like this. All right, so that's basically all for the results. We've got almost 14 divines per hour, 1.1 2/3 divine per map, and I got a lot of currency to spend to get a new bow upgrade. Not exactly sure how I'm going to go about doing that because the Crucible tree puts a big monkey wrench into my strategy about crafting a bow. Whether I start with the Crucible tree or do it later, I'm not really sure yet, but puts me in a pretty good position. We'll see if I can even get a better position by gambling a few things like, you know, 4 Voidborn Reliquary keys, and I think it was 24 stack decks, and maybe put these Ventors together. It would be nice if I replaced a Ventor. I really need to replace this Ventor too, so hang tight. Gambling's next. Just not been my league for stack decks. And still, I mean, that was a sample size of 24, so doesn't really matter. But anyway, there you go. That's done. Maybe we can see something a little better with the gem corruption. And to be to be fair, I think I've corrupted 12 enhanced supports, and I've gone up 3 times and down 0 times. So I'm pretty lucky on these so far. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing. 1 up, 2 up. Got my usual good fortune. These are about 3 divines. So made quite a bit of currency there. Nice. Nice. Just my just do my usual thing with corrupting gems. My usual thing. I don't consider myself a very lucky person with Voidborn Reliquary keys either, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try. You got a Calandra's Touch from a Voidborn. I got a Calandra's Touch right before I started this session. I would have laughed if that was a Skin of the Loyal. That would have been amazing. A Tabula. I think people do actually buy that. I don't know. Probably they do buy it. Not like it's anything special though. Number 2. That should have been a Kingmaker. Not part of a Kingmaker. Royal Skein. Number 3. Gotta go fast. Who puts this in the game? Who puts that in the game? Why? Just why? What? They get like the whole list of the remaining uniques. They're like, dude, I want this one. What? Ah, there we go. That's a little better. A little bit better. Well, there you go. That's the end of it. How did I get Corrupted Blood immunity? I didn't, but I did get Soul of Relikish. Pretty good. I'd buy one of the Asenius that they had to spare. Yeah, getting that's good. Alright, so let's see. I know I'm going to get asked the question as a final thoughts. I know I'm going to get asked the question, can you do this farm without a headhunter? Yeah, I mean, this build, my build would have absolutely handled this without a headhunter because generally speaking, it had no delirium and it wasn't even wandering paths. So it was 8 mod corrupted maps with a lot of player altars, but not too bad. Not every build could do it without a headhunter, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, if you can do enraged strongbox farming in general, if you can do breaches just generally speaking, not too bad. Is it a farm worth doing? Definitely requires a lot of clicking. If you're somebody who absolutely hates clicking all over the place, you don't really want to do Chayula breach farming for the splinters. If you're not willing to pick up, you got to be at least willing to pick up like stacks of 2 but honestly, you should probably be picking up stacks of 1, because if I was only picking up stacks of 2 or higher, that probably reduces me from like whatever it was, 134 breach stones all the way down to like maybe 100 or more, a little over 100 maybe. So I would be losing a lot of breach stones if I did that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 110. It's hard to say, actually. I definitely think breach is good, though. Even with just 1 Skin of the Loyal and 2 chosen cards, all of those breach stones, that was a huge amount of value. Definitely, I mean, way more than paid off the price of the sextant itself and all of the investment in breach. And of course, I got, you know, I'm pretty sure at least one of those brothers' gifts came from a breach somewhere, as well as, you know, divine orbs or what have you. Definitely. So yeah, that perception of breach being really bad, like really not good, I don't know. Legion is still pretty good. Harbinger is pretty good. You don't necessarily have to do Harbinger on here. You could sub out some Atlas points for Harbinger for like Tormented Spirits or something like that. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out there to, you know, really convince some of you guys that breach is fun. It's a lot of fun, and it certainly feels good now to farm. And even the results of the currency you get from doing breach, pretty good there. And yes, even like general loot does drop from breaches. I know people talking about how breaches don't drop any more loot. I absolutely saw a fair bit of loot coming from breaches. We even had one crazy god touched Brian King. It was in fact a Brian King touched breach rare monster that dropped 2 divines and a bunch of other currency with no reliquary scarab. It was pretty wild. So that's all I got. We got a comment section in the down below. You can ask any comments or say whatever you like about it. Let me know if you've been farming breach, if you like it. Let me know how poison tornado shot's going, if that's been going well for you as well. And yeah, I don't know exactly what's next, but well, I do know that the bow craft is going to be coming. I am going to be coming out with another video featuring bow, how to craft the bow, quiver, and helmet, and get all that out of the way, hopefully. And then more farming sessions. Got to do some more farming. Maybe go back to the Crimson Prison or something else. I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you around in the next video.